As games like this, they raise their level. My prevailing thought is this. You've now seen the Nets. You've seen these three guys that went off in the fourth quarter. Now you have the film to watch, and how are you going to deal with them next time you see them? But Kyrie Irving was unbelievable tonight. What a game. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw these two teams in the finals, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if my heart can take a 7-game series between these guys in the finals, but that certainly would be fun. As you guys mentioned, of course, the stars were big tonight. This one kind of came down to who made the critical plays in crunch time, and tonight turned out it was the Nets because they were big in that fourth quarter.
Well, I mean, just the pressure that the Brooklyn Nets played with was amazing. I mean, they actually played better defense than I think, and so that means to me, Don, it's all about the heart for the Brooklyn Nets on their defensive prowess. You know, they found a way to lock down on certain players, but man, my Duke Blue brother, Mr. Kyrie Irving, he was on fire. He put pressure on this Clippers team every single time. And Don, the alarming thing about this is that the Brooklyn Nets shot 57% from the field. And you saw at one point that Kyrie Irving went off, and then all of a sudden James Harden was able to get going. He finished with a triple-double. And Kevin Durant got going with 28 points and 11 for 13 from the field.
Well, you're right about the defense, Corey. It was better than I expected, too. But I have a feeling that this team is going to continue to get better defensively and raise their level to the moment. Like, this was the biggest game since Harden's been traded to Brooklyn, and they knew it, so they raised their level defensively. I think the biggest thing for me that stood out, Corey, and you touched on it, is they spread the floor. And if the floor spread, it is mano-a-mano. And Irving's tough to deal with. Durant's tough to deal with. Harden's tough to deal with. So moving forward, when you see him again, what is the defensive game plan? You cannot play them straight up. They are too good. They made too many threes. You're going to have a scheme to get the ball out of certain guys' hands and live with the consequences. But they were lethal in that fourth quarter, the Nets offense.
Yeah, it's pick your poison with these guys. They end up shooting 57% from the field, but Kyrie Irving, special in this game. He finished with 39 points. They just couldn't get a handle on him.
Well, I spoke to Don about this, that probably the most dangerous player for the Brooklyn Nets is Kyrie Irving. And the reason is because he puts more pressure on you on the offensive end. He can get to the basket. He can hit tough shots. He's probably, Don, one of the best finishers in this game. But when you have this luxury asset of Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden, they're able to pick spots when it's time to score the basketball. And you said it, Don, earlier, the penetration and getting to the paint from Kyrie Irving, from James Harden, really put the Clippers in the bind. And this is what I would say, Don, this is the first time that I've seen the Clippers break down, not just far as offensively, but defensive breakdowns, multiple times wide open players being wide open during this game, Don.
Irving's so fast with the ball, you don't know if he's going to pull. You don't know if he's going to get all the way to the paint, get all the way to the rim. Harden, you can kind of sit on his stuff. Like, when he decides to go, he's not as quick, so you can maybe run another guy at him. Durant, we talked about in pregame, he's a lot of over the top from the perimeter. But Irving is the problem because you don't know where he's going to be. He gets to his spots. If he decides he's going to get 40, he gets 40. If he decides he's going to be more of a playmaker, he does that. So, again, moving forward, the Clippers will have to devise a different defensive game plan to deal with him.
Well, hopefully if they see the Nets again, they have another stopper in one Patrick Beverley, of course,
That's right.
who wasn't available for this game. But as we talk about the Clippers' defense, not being able to get a handle on those guys, one of their two-way guys, and Kawhi Leonard, certainly had it going on both ends. He had 33 tonight, and the stars kind of rising to the occasion.
Well, what I love about Kawhi, he put pressure on this team early, and I said it wasn't just his offensive game defensively. He had 4 steals tonight. He made Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving all
on the road. So, Fizz, if you were just saying those teams, if those teams ended up in the finals against each other, who would you pick for the title?
That's not right.
Well, these are the teams that are playing tonight, Fizz. This is what I got.
I mean, that's how you gonna hit me, huh?
Yep.
Well, right now, today, Today, I'm picking the Clippers, if you're going to put pressure on me like that, just because they've been together longer and they really defend. They take pride in their defense. They're more connected right now defensively. But obviously, for these two teams to make it, health will be a huge issue for both teams. Both teams have to get through this season healthy. But I got to go with the Clippers just because they really play both ends of the floor right now.
Yeah, I got to go with the Clippers, too. I mean, when you look at the Clippers, they have the only two wingmen that can possibly match up well versus the Nets. I mean, Kawhi Leonard's a great defender, Paul George, too. And if you want two guys in the NBA on the same team, guarding Kevin Durant and James Harden, those are the two guys that you want on them. And I don't see no other team in the league with that combination of defenders that can match up with these guys all night. And so I have to go with the Clippers.
I'm fascinated to see this matchup. I think it's going to be fantastic and really a test for Steve Nash's group of when their attention is served and when they know they have to lock down, can they do it? These guys have shown that they can play team defense, even if none of them are sort of lights out defenders on their own. And they got to do it, though. As Steve has said, they haven't been doing it yet. And they'll freely admit that. Kyrie said every guy was going past him the other night. So I hope that they can find their focus and give us a really good basketball game. The matchup looks incredible. Time for our League Pass game of the night, gentlemen. 6 games on the slate, including 2 on TNT. So our producers are banned, I tell you, from choosing any national TV games. They had to go with Blazers Wizards, which, hey, that's tonight at 8.
Moment, they've got the best record in the NBA. They're 16-5. They're 9-1 in their last 10. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are playing great. They're averaging 50 points between them a game. They're shooting 50% from the field, 40% from 3, 90% from the line, which are great numbers. Everybody's listening to Ty Lue, obviously. I'd be an idiot not to take the Clippers, so of course I'm taking the Nets. And I'm taking the Nets for 2 reasons. One, the Eastern Conference is easier to navigate than the Western Conference.
That anymore.
And two, their ceiling is the highest in all of basketball. When the 3 guys play, Harden and Durant and Kyrie, they are 3-1. They score in such prolific bunches that it's scary. They play no defense, Mike. I concede that. But they don't have to play it now. They have to play it in April and May, and that is coaching responsibility.
Shortcomings. The Clippers only have one. It was the same one they had last year. The personality of the team. You got guys who can play, but they're quiet. And somebody needs to lead that team on the court and off the court in the spring. You got Paul George, who's still quiet. Kawhi, still and forever quiet. Lou Williams, great player. Quiet Ibaka, acquired player, wonderful veteran, quiet guy. Even T. Lue. Now, T. Lue seems to be an asset where no matter where he is, and he doesn't get enough credit for what happened in Cleveland and not getting enough so far for what happens with the Clippers. But so that's the shortcoming, the personality of the team that haunted them last year. Brooklyn, 147 and 146 back-to-back nights, barely win one.